Guys, it's official. I have found the softest t-shirt mankind has ever made, and it's all thanks to our friends at Marine Layer, who are bringing you the comfiest closet staples. For a limited time, our listeners are going to get an exclusive 15% off discount with code CHAEL15 at marinelayer.com. Have you ever felt like you were in between sizes? What's cool about Marine Layer is they actually make in between sizes. You no longer have to choose between medium and large. They are making Marge a real thing. I just got their signature crew tee, and I don't want to take it off. These clothes fit fantastic, and it gets better with Marine Layer's Respun program for when you update your closet and get rid of your old shirts. Marine Layer will send you a prepaid recycling kit and give you a $5 credit per shirt. You get paid for your old tees, and you get to help Marine Layer keep fabric waste out of the landfills. Whether you're going on a date or keeping it casual at home, Marine Layer has the best shirts for every occasion. The perfect tee can be hard to find. Look no further than Marine Layer. For a limited time, get 15% off with the promo code CHAEL15 at marinelayer.com, or just click on the link below.
What is the likelihood that it would be Merab? I know that there's some controversy of him not wanting to fight. He wants Aljo to have the rematch. What's your idea for that?
Everybody in this room and everybody who watches this video knows how I feel about this shit. Yeah. I hate it. Hate it. And if that's, why did you even get into this sport? If that's your mentality and the way that you think. I don't even want the title. I don't even want the championship. We're friends. We're this. We're that. This is not. You can be friends with everybody in this business. There's a lot of nice people in this business, a lot of good people. This is not about friendship. This is about finding out who the best in the world is. And if you don't want to find out who the best in the world is, this is not the place for you. You should be somewhere else. There's plenty of places to fight where they don't give a shit what you do. Doesn't work here.
Merab, are you listening? Now, Dana just spoke to a reporter, but he's speaking to you. He's speaking directly to you, and I just want to do the same thing because I feel that there's a misunderstanding. I'm not coming at you to get you to turn on your friend Aljo. Hey, newsflash, I'm friends with Aljo. I'll disclose I've never had this conversation with him, and I'm not going to. This is your guys' business, but there does appear to be a misunderstanding. Your loyalty is unmatched, and it's admired. And I will completely defend you to people who don't understand what that's about. Not to mention, I don't think you probably know a whole lot of people in this country when you came. I think you were welcomed in. I think you were treated like a brother, and I think you're trying to repay that. Guys like you are very rare. I feel there's a misunderstanding on what the current landscape is. The agreement, as I understood it, and I'm only as good as the media where you and Aljo set little things down here and there, but I followed it. And the agreement was that you're not going to go take the belt from him, and he's not going to beat you up if you qualify and try to take the belt from him. You guys aren't going to fight, right? That's an easier way to say it. You're not being asked to fight. And this is a big message, okay? Now, if there was ever a miss by Dana White, who doesn't miss very often, but if there was ever a miss by him, sometimes he knows and sees things that he thinks are so obvious that he thinks the fighters see it. And they don't. So this is very helpful. This is the second time in 1 month where Dana has made something very clear, right? I mean, the first time was just on the Wonder Boy situation with the weight loss. We've never been told in extremely clear terms what is expected by the organization in that event. Well, now we've cleared that up. He came out, he cleared that up, and this is his second time. But it's a different situation than whatever deal you guys agreed upon, which had to do with, I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to take what you have and Aljo in return. I'm not going to stop you from I got to bring that to you because there was a time that Rory McDonald and George St. Pierre were champion and number one contender, which couldn't get that right. There was a time with Jon Jones and Rashad Evans, and they're the same gym and their buddy, and they just couldn't get it right. To this day. I mean, they moved away to this day. Were cornered and taught and trained by other guys. That isn't what's happening here. But there is a new statement put out by Merab, and this is what Dana was speaking to. And I wanted to play that video so that you guys had the answer, but now let me tell you, just so you understand where this is coming from. Okay? Aljo's plan was to beat Sugar Sean, of which he was favored to do. and leave and go up to 145 pounds and go smack dab after Alex Volkanovski. That was a great plan, and it was really interesting. But like all plans, right, you're driving down the road and you get a flat tire every now and then. Hit a little speed bump, you got to pull over, right? Make some little pit stop. So we all understand those things. A misunderstanding by Merab, right? So many people think that Merab's a number one contender. That's debatable, but many people think that he's a number one contender. I believe that he certainly could be, but if Aljo stays, I think that the champion falls to number one. I don't care if he gets beat in 3 seconds. If the champion and number one fight, whatever happens and however it happens, I think they just switch spots. That's what I believe. History agrees with me. History says they go to the rematch. But history also says we don't go to a rematch in a quiet room on a Tuesday at 9 a.m. We go to the rematch when the former champion, who now becomes the number one contender, calls for the rematch immediately. That's not what happened. Not only did that not happen, that was very polite. And that's a whole nother conversation. I think that Aljo gained a lot of fans for that. Set that aside, though. Not only did we not do that, we moved on in the form of Chito Vera. So it's a really difficult thing to run back. Now, I'm not telling you guys what's going to happen because I don't know. But I do want to make sure that you understand it has been decided amongst Aljo and company. I'm sure Coach Longo's involved in this. It sounds like Merab's involved in this, but it has been decided amongst them that in fact Chito Vera is next. That in fact we missed our opportunity to call him out in that moment. Chito slid in there. We're going to let Chito have it in what we believe beat December, and then we take on the winner, and we believe that's going to be Sugar Sean. And therefore, Merab is going to wait until all of those things are done. Guys, all of those things are make-believe. They could happen. Elon could get us to Mars. I mean, right, but there is no, just to start at the very beginning, there is no Chito Vera versus Sean O'Malley fight. We could hedge our bet. I fully believe that's the direction that we're going. Okay, great, but let's say we get there. They are not reserved for the December date. I mean, I got to start at the very beginning because there's not one statement. There's not one thing that you used as your evidence to then make your statement, which is, I'm out. I'm out. I'm Merab. I'm out. We get Aljo ready. Aljo's getting the rematch. This is what we're doing. And if Aljo wins, then I'm going to stay gatekeeper. Or if Aljo wins, we go back to the original plan and he goes to 145, and that's when I slide in. Well, by that time, you've pissed everybody off. Like, that isn't going to happen. I can assure you. You ever been to Vegas? Merab, I know that you have. Rhetorical question. But you've seen those big, beautiful places they call casinos? The big, beautiful swimming pools. They got them elevators that take you up 50 stories. Grab a little phone, you push one button, they'll bring you some food. You ever seen one of those? Because the house always wins. So if you put a plan together and you think you're going to execute it, I'm trying to tell you, in friendship, you're not. So perhaps it's you that goes to 145. Or perhaps it's not. Perhaps you go and pick a fight. Perhaps you just keep on moving along, going along to get along. You're not being forced or even asked to face Sterling, which to my understanding was the agreement. And when Dana spoke about this, he did ask you a very strong and direct question. You're going to have to ask yourself that. But the question was, if you don't want the title, if you don't want the main event, if you don't want the points, the belt, and the biggest opportunities we have to offer, why did you get into this in the first place? And that's tough. That's a tough question, right? That's going to provoke a very tough response. It was the right question for Dana to ask. And that response, as tough as it is very important that you have. I don't mean for people like me. I don't mean to satisfy. I just mean internally. Your response and your loyalty, and I know that it's a payback. I don't know what it is that Aljo and Coach Longo and all of them did for you, but I could imagine. We've had plenty of guests come over where we've had to help with visas and green cards and build opportunities and get them into professional sport. There's been plenty of people So I feel as though I've got a really good idea, and I know that they treated you really right. I know this isn't a one-way street, and you're just looking out for Aljo. I know that he's looked out for you. I just have to remind you as calmly as I can. I'm friends with Aljo. By the way, I haven't had this conversation with him, but I'm sharing with you. You're not being asked to fight each other. That just isn't the situation. As a matter of fact, you weren't even asked to fight Sean O'Malley. As a matter of fact, you haven't been declared the #1 contender. These are all thoughts and conversations that you've had within your bubble. And when you have those private conversations within your bubble, but you reveal to the outside world what your conclusion to those conversations is, that's where you start to turn people. Like, we're always going to take you at your word. What color belt are you, Merab? I would imagine a black belt. Well, what color belt are you? Okay, great. You've given that answer before. I'm not the first to ask you. Just by example, right? Has anybody ever said prove it? Just by example. Has anyone ever told you to prove it? Have you told anybody where you're from, just by example, and they asked you for a passport outside of trying to board an airplane? Has that ever happened? I'm trying to prove a very simple point, which we will take you at your word. So if you come out with some kind of a statement, even if you don't mean it, if you're like, no, hey, Mick, Sean, Dana, call me. We're going to take you at your word. And if your word is I'm going to sit, I'm going to wait, there's no reason to try to find an opponent for you. I don't think that's what you mean. And I think that that you don't want to fight Aljo, that you're going to help each other. I love that. I think it's honorable, man. I'm on your side completely. I just want to make sure that you do understand what's being said. Sugar, Chito, December, Aljo, after that, in next year, none of those things are real. Those things were created in whatever bubble you're in, but the responses that you put out are real. Let's fix this, and I'll help you.